Yes, so today what we are going to discuss is very brief about epigenetics. Okay, if you have heard the term epigenetics, somewhere we can say we all are made up of same genes, right? Our all cells have same kind of set of gene which is inherited to us. But what happens is gene is just a information. We express it differently and all cells express it differently. See, the RBC also has the same gene, or what we say the other examples if we take, because RBC all the genes are taken out at some point. But if you consider other cells like liver cells, kidney cells, if you compare, they have same genetic material. But some functions are done from that genes to the liver, even though the information for the same is there in kidney, it does not take place in kidney, right? So it's the expression of gene which changes. So we know the very basic is a DNA, right? That's a gene, and which gets converted to messenger RNA, which gets converted to protein. So DNA to messenger RNA is a transcriptome, right? So it's a transcriptome. And messenger RNA to protein, it's a protein, so proteome, right? So it's a genetic, transcriptomic and proteomic. So where does the epigenetic fits there? So let me give you one example. You got the book called Harrison in your first year medicine, right? So that book was working really good. It was quite fresh, like a fresh genome. It had so many things which could have come out of this. But in your first year, you got few things out. In second year, you got few things out. In final year, you tried to get everything out. But when you were reading your Harrison, you are actually modifying, you are underlining, you are highlighting, you are doing some modification, you are adding some references, something you are doing with that, right? So it's all other influences, the environmental or external influences on your basic set of Harrison. Now whatever you have modified, you read that Harrison, that is giving you a little different, or I will say a modified better information. So the epigenetic does same to the genetic information what we carry. It's the influence of the environment, right? So classical example, we say the movies like Judwa or the Sita Gita and all, right? Where they were brought up, that changed everything. They were born with the same genetic information, but the environment brought something different out of them. So that's the expression, and that is the epigenetic. How the environment influences our capacity, that is the epigenetic, and in a very broad sense. So it does not change the basic code, that is gene, but it changes the way the basic code expresses, that is epigenetic, right? So it is in between the genetic and transcriptomic. This epigenetic is playing role through the environment to which these things have been exposed, right? So that's a very basic information to epigenetic. If you get this concept, we will go ahead and see what textbook has to tell us, right? So starting with the definition, if we see that it defines it describes a number of chromatin modification that stably alter the gene expression without changing the sequence of DNA. So here I really want you to focus that it alter the gene expression without changing the sequence of DNA. So your Harrison is same, but the way you are getting information from that, it is different now. It is modified. So it alters or modifies the gene expression without changing the DNA, right? So we all entered as a first year MD with the same kind of knowledge mostly, but at the end of our residency we all manifest differently. Some are interested in cardiology, some are in rheumatology. Why this all changes happens? We all were same, the sequence of DNA has not been changed, we all are human still, right? But the way we think has changed, that's a gene expression. So that's a classical example to describe epigenetic, the change in the gene expression without changing the sequence of DNA. Your phenotype is different, but your genotype is same. That's what key people tell. It shapes the phenotype of cell without changing the genotype, right? So this is the very basic concept where the epigenetic lies on. Okay, so this is what you can understand, that this DNAs are packed, right? If they are packed, and this is the in between, what you can see are the histones, and through which the DNAs are getting circled. So the total complex is nucleosome, right? So when they are packed, they are difficult to be read. but once they open up, then it is difficult to read and edit and do the things, right? So that's one of the modifications. See, I did not change that genetic code at all. It is same information, but it was packed, we unpacked it. So when the information from packed to get unpacked, it became easy to read. It is telling you the thing, the information can be same, but the expression can be different, and that is all the epigenetic is all about, right? So that's the first concept of epigenetic to understand. This is the classical example, the genetics, which is the DNA what we carry, or the Harrison what you buy a new one, and this is the epigenetics what our education does to the Harrison, right? It completely changes the perspective and we get information quite easily. So that's how you take the information of genetic and epigenetic. This is your first year when you are entering, and this is where you are final year fresh MD, where the things are, people say fresh, but you are quite knowledgeable at that point, right? So that is the thing. Now if you see the definition which are keep changing, I have kept definition because we have to deal with the theory exam also, right? So if you see the thing, it's a change in the gene expression that stem from the long exposure to certain signal get imprinted, become independent of the activating stimulus and persistent even in absence. So this is quite important to learn. It is not something that today I am telling you that you have to study, so you are studying, or you are getting some concept and you will get it for the time being or for the today. Once you get the concept, it stays forever. I am not supposed to reinforce again and again, no, this is the stimulus, this is the stimulus. The same story happens with gene also. It remembers that this was trained, this was told to us. So next time if we get this kind of situation, we will react with this, right? So once you read that your final year Harrison, you go to the exam, you don't come that, okay, no, I have to revise again and again. I agree that sometimes the situation happens like that, but most of the time you just see superficially and you are out, you are ready for your exam. And that's the importance of repeated and proper reading, right? So that is the thing that the body remembers, right? That it is indirectly impact of nutrition, toxins, infection on gene expression. It is nothing but the environmental exposure to which we are exposed, right? So which is maintained, leading to fixed changes in the phenotype. So that is what, that in childhood or during your school, how you are trained, you will be manifesting the some phenotype of that throughout your life. Suppose if we take the example of discipline, if your school was quite disciplined and you were waking up at 5 o'clock every day in the morning, majority of you will run in your life that 5 o'clock 6 o'clock you will be up. After that your master is not coming and telling you that you have to wake up at 5, but your body has learned that, your gene has learned that, to remember that part, and that is the environment which is working on this, right? So this is how the epigenetic works, right? The nutrition part, toxin part, and infection, it leaves its effects. Maybe corona, even the SARS-CoV-2 may be putting some impression in our gene that you live your life like that. Okay, so that all things are possible, and that is called epigenetic of the life, right? So now the question comes, you have a genetic material which is DNA. It has to be modified but not modified. Okay, this is confusing, right? So it has to be modified in expression, it has not to be modified in its information. So that's quite a complex task, right? So to achieve that complex task, we have certain mechanism. We will see a very superficial primary mechanism, and then we will see in the further classes how we can go in detail of that. Okay, so this is one of the example of this, and what we see that you can see the DNA double helix here, right? This is the DNA double helix which is running, and this DNA double helix is packed with the histone, and the complex of histone and DNA double helix which is running around that, it's called nucleosome, right? When this nucleosome towards histone is open, it's called open chromatin. Now you can see this DNA, this genetic code is accessible for the RNA, and the transcriptomic can take place. But if it's a closed chromatin, it is a closed chromatin, what you can see here, and which will be the condition in many of the times in the body, it won't be like available for access. When it is not available for access, it cannot express, right? Suppose there are certain genes which makes me dull. If I close that gene for life, it does not make me dull anytime, right? This is just example. We have certain genes which makes us susceptible to infection, which makes us susceptible to injury. they come only in the picture when there are certain modification what we do with continuous environmental exposure to smoking or the outsourced smoke and all. So that screws everything in the body and things become open and we become susceptible to disease. So now a simple question to you, that I lived in a city which is full of pollution. I was living in that city for my life, but up to age of 20-30 I did not had any problem. Then slowly I started developing some problem. Why? Because it was slowly accumulating and my genes which were protecting me, now they are open. And that's what the epigenetic change comes. That is modified, that I was born with the protection but my environment screwed me, right? That is called epigenetic change. So to take that place, there are certain mechanism. One of the mechanism which takes place is at the DNA, right? This is the DNA code. So if something takes place at DNA, it's called DNA changes. And there are two changes. One is the DNA methylation and one is the DNA demethylation, right? It is kind of, it's getting methyl group or not getting methyl group. The second change which takes is at the histone. Okay, these are the histone, right, around which the DNA is packed. Now see, the histone does not have any genetic information, nothing it has, it just packs the DNA. But if you modified histone rather than DNA itself, still it modifies the packing of your genetic material and indirectly expression of your genetic material. So these are the histone modification, which includes acetylation, methylation, phosphorylation, sumolation, ubiquitination, ADP ribosylation. And the third changes which happens, which we will not discuss right now, even though it's a very hot area in the medicine right now, what we see in the advances, which is called non-coding RNAs. That's again long non-coding RNA, short non-coding RNA. There are so many things to discuss under which is also part of your epigenetics. But we'll focus right now on DNA methylation and histone modification. That gives us idea how the genetic information inside the body is changing, right? So going further there, the predicting the outcome, what change happens and what can happen to the ultimate gene expression. See, now this is a very beautiful science, but we Indians screw everything. We convert it to MCQ, right? So we have to learn from MCQ what actually matters. But you try to remember right now, this changes can do something, and actually if you remember properly, it can do something to your NEET rank also, right? So let's see how it occurs. So the first change is what I am looking at. I am looking at the changes at the DNA. The second change I will look at the histone. So DNA, the methylation is the first change which takes place at the location of the cytosine, and the effect is the repression of the gene expression. Okay, so it's a, if I have some protective gene and if due to some environmental modification there is a methylation of that part of DNA, it is repressed, it does not help me, right? That is called DNA hypermethylation. So hypermethylation is a change which repress the genetic expression. When you read the diseases like lupus and all, you will see the hypermethylation of the part which are immunoprotective or something. So then the all regulatory mechanism is disturbed and autoimmunity comes out, right? So that's a DNA methylation. Now we will see the changes at the histone. The histone, the first changes is methylation again, which takes place at what? Lysine and arginine. In DNA methylation, the location was cytosine, that is your MCQ. While histone methylation, the target amino acid is lysine and arginine. It can lead to either activation or repression. Any of the outcome can come. The next change is acetylation, which again takes place at lysine. It does the activation. Next change is deamination, which takes place at arginine, which is methylated, which leads to repression. The next change is phosphorylation, which takes place at serine and threonine, which leads to activation, which is transient in nature. Next is ubiquitination, which takes place at lysine, causing either activation and repression. The next is sumolation, which takes again place at lysine, causing repression, and ADP ribosylation, which does the activation, right? So this is a too much of information to get and remember, but remember the concept. What is the concept? This kind of changes either in DNA or histone can change the gene expression. The information has not been changed, it's just the expression has been changed. Even though you're right, but your friend says no, he did the mistake, and teacher believes it, you are gone, right? You are the same person, but this changes leads to a different perspective to the world. That is the epigenetic, right? So now here, if you see, if we go for a proper MCQ person, what are the things which only activates? The only activator things, the only activator change at histone level, if you see, it is the acetylation and the ADP ribosylation. So a kid will tell you if something starts with A, it activates. Okay, I don't do this, but for MCQ you have to do this, right? So these are the simple things to remember. What are the things we just repress? At DNA level, methylation represses, and at histone level, deamination represses, and sumolation represses, right? Other than everything, at histone level, either can activate or can repress. This slide is the most important slide, I will say, to remember when you are preparing for your MCQ. Concept you already have got it. The changes which manifest little. I am not sure whether scientists even remember all this thing or not. Only we Indian remember for MCQ. Okay. So now the next part we will see little for the DNA methylation. The DNA methylation takes place through the enzyme DNMT. Okay. Have you heard of this enzyme anytime in your life? If not, just try to find mechanism of drug induced lupus and you will find this enzyme somewhere. Okay. Then try to think little higher how actually the things are happening here. Okay. So these are the DNMT which does the changes. And as we know, when the methylation takes place, the transcription will go in the repression. Why it will go in repression? Because whenever the methylation takes place, the bonds which are required for the interaction of genetic code XS will not be available. The groups will not be available. That's why it get repressed, and it's called transcriptional repression. Okay, so the methyl added to the cytosine ring of the CpG dinucleotide, and the non-CpG changes happens here at the Cp and CpT also, which happens in only in the pluripotent stem cell, which disappears during differentiation. Now see, this is a very important and little complex information, that as such the DNA methylation site is at the CpG, but in a pluripotent stem cell it can also take place at the Cpa and CpT. I am pretty sure you know what is G, A and T. ATGC DNA, right? We know this basic code for our life. So it is not compulsory that it takes only at CpG. In pluripotent stem cell, it can also take place at the non-CpG site also, right? So going further, next, the DNMT, right? So DNMT, the enzyme is called DNA methyl transferase, and second enzyme is TET, that's a 10-11 translocation methylcysteine dioxygenase. So it does the reverse action of that. But most of the things, or most of the study concern right now what we have is with DNMT. So DNMT can have changes in the de novo, which is DNMT 3A and 3B, which determines and establishes the DNA methylation pattern in utero. And then there is DNMT 1, which actually do the function of maintenance of DNMT, right? So DNMT has group, in that 1 is a maintenance, 3 does the changes in the de novo groups, right? These are all your MCQ information. Otherwise, concept is very simple. DNMT is the enzyme which leads to methylation. Methylation is the process which leads to repression of the genetic expression. It is reversed by the enzyme called TET, right? So this is what we have to learn from this slide. So now going further, the sequence, the methylated DNA is there. It goes to the MECP2, then the histone deacetylase can work on that 1 and 2, that leads to deacetylation and the gene silencing. Okay, now this is also another process where we have to remember here the histone deacetylase. Okay, because when you read the processes affecting histone, deacetylation was the repressor, means gene silencing, which can take place through this. So it is same, that genetic information we are not changing, we are changing just expression of that gene, we are making it silent. The information is still there, it is not getting expressed. The liver cell has same function what a proximal tubular of kidney can do. It does not do it. Why? Because it is silenced due to the epigenetic. And you can really understand the meaning here, that all your cells have similar genetic information but it does different function. Did that thought cross your mind that my brain is working somewhere differently, my heart is working somewhere differently, even though they have same information, because it is all modified, right? It's a different expression which makes every organ a different thing, right? Now the next is histone acetylation. So it is a transcriptional activation. Acetylation, A for activation. ADP ribosylation, A for activation, right? Like a kid, but we have to know this. Okay. So it neutralizes the interaction between the lysine and the DNA, and that what makes it open for the interaction. Okay. So histone acetyl transferase is the enzyme HAT, and for the histone acetylation, it is either type A, which is called nuclear type A, or the type B. While for the histone deacetylation, you have the enzyme HDAC, that is very commonly asked again. Histone deacetylase, which are of 4 classes. Class 1, class 2 work on, and class 4 works on the zinc, and class 3 works on the NAD, which is sirtuin 1 to 7. We will come to this sirtuin, which is present in wine, right? So this is the changes which happens with the deacetylation. Deacetylation means it will be leading to silencing. Acetylation means it will leading to activation of gene expression. So this was the French paradox, what we have seen, and it was actually attributable to sirtuin, which is present in wine. So it's a class of histone deacetylase that inhibits the gene expression. SHIRT1 is the key member in the mammals which activates the nutrient sensing pathway and through NAD+, and resveratrol is the agonist of sirtuin-1. When we discuss the chapter of aging, we discuss on this. This is one of the agent which is being tried to increase the livelihood or the aging of the humankind. This is all more in concept, but this is telling you that if I modify my genes in a way that it express a proper health for me, then I will have a longer life. You already have a way to that. You run every day, you do good exercise, you have good food, then life is there for us. But who wants to do that, right? No one. We all want to take stress and earn money, right? So that's how our life is not that great at the end of the day. Fine. So this is about sirtuin. Now next change is histone methylation. We will just close the chapters very soon, but I just wanted to give you concept. It is very simple. The information is same. It is getting change in its expression. That is epigenetic. To do that, either you change DNA, that is DNA methylation, or you change histone. There are so many changes. You change the DNA but not the basic code of DNA. So the genotype is not changed, but phenotype is changed, right? So now this is histone methylation. Again, it takes place to the HMT, that is histone methyl transferase, and then mono, di and trimethylation can take place. The demethylation takes at lysine, that's called lysine demethylase, and the PAD4 is one of the example of the demethylation process, right? PAD4 you will learn in rheumatoid arthritis somewhere, which comes for that. Okay, so this completes our discussion. It gives a very basic information, and I think it's worth remembering the concept. Epigenetic is very likely to be asked in your full short note, and what we discussed initially, I'll just go through that one more time, or I'll just show you the table, that whatever you remember or you do not remember here, this table is something you will not forget. Okay, this is your MCQ table. Fine. The concept is clear, then you make MCQ on that, and then your topic becomes quite easy. So here we will conclude our class. Thank you.